Hello my oohs, I am very excited to bring this video to you. In this episode we are taking a sneaky little look at Viper's lore. While Sky hates her, Reina wants a revenge on her for what she did to her loved one, and how Viper is a little bit angry at our poor little Sage. Let's get started! Personality and abilities. First of all, Viper's name is Sabine Callis. She's from the USA and is in affiliation with Kingdom Corporation, as she was a chemist there, and she's in affiliation with Valorant Protocol. Viper's a controller and her codename is Pandemic. Taking a look at Viper's personality and appearance, we can see that she's a sweet little human, of course. Well, she used to be nice before the incident. We have a very limited amount of information on what happened, but we do have a lot of fan theories which we'll get into later on in the video. Let's just say for now that something very bad happened and Viper has not been the same since. Viper has an interesting voice line.
They call me a monster. Shall I prove them right?
Which shows that when necessary she can be a savage monster, and as long as it gets the job done, she does not mind acting like a villain.
My priority is their suffering.
What's more interesting is that she will call her teammates out if they miscalculate something on the battlefield as well.
Idiots, the spike, now!
Viper bottles up her feelings more than a 50-year-old Eastern European dad, and so she has a lot of anger built up inside of her and constantly looks like she's angry and wants revenge on people. Viper has a resting bitch face, as you can see in game. She has black hair, green eyes, black mask that goes over her head when she ultis, skin-tight green bodysuit with black sharp shoulder plates, and she's wearing custom gloves which she can release her toxins from because she's about that life, you know. And finally, she wears black boots which reach her thighs and carries a container with her toxins on her back. Moving on to the lore section. Viper's lore is very interesting. So, Viper has possible links to Seattle and holds a doctorate and awards. For example, the R. Francis Prize and Denton Outstanding Innovation Award because she's cool. She used to work as a chemist for Kingdom Corporation, as we mentioned before. Then because she ultimately was really good, she managed to secure a position as first chief scientist officer on board of advisors. What's quite interesting is that she used to be a healer. We'll come back to this part later in the theory section. While Viper was still working at Kingdoms Corporation, there was an incident. Sadly, we are not clear on the details, but we do have a lot of theories about it. They are very interesting. We'll talk about them later. But for now, let's just say that Omen suffered the most. However, officially, we do not know what happened. Viper is the second agent in the protocol, as shown by her 02 number on her ID card. She found the protocol alongside our first agent Brimstone. Then Sage joined in as the 7th agent, and this is important because for some reason Sage ended up being the second in command on the Brimstone instead of Viper. But then again, we don't know if Viper wanted to be in that position or not, because of course she should have the priority since she's the second agent. Since then, Viper has been just leading multiple missions across the globe. There's not much more information about her in the lore. And for some reason, Viper treats Omen better than other agents, as shown through her voice line to Omen.
Omen. Keep yourself together, you're still needed.
So it is also possible that Omen's name is John. Moving on to my favorite section, which is the theory section. We have 6 in total. Some of them are very short, but starting off with the first theory. Sage, Omen and Viper experiment theory. So before we've said that there was the incident and Viper has not been the same after the incident. One of the theories about that what happened is that a lot of fans believe that Viper was trying to make Omen invincible because she was in love with him. That's another theory though. through experimenting with Radianite. Viper brought Sage with her so that in case anything happened, Sage can revive Omen or heal him at least if something went horribly wrong. Long story short, it has been said that the experiment went horribly wrong in the lore and Sage tried to revive/heal Omen, but was unfortunately too weak and made Omen a lot worse. His body started to rip apart because of the huge amount of Radianite consumption. We can tell that Viper is still mad at Sage as well, looking at the voice line to the enemy Sage.
That's payback, Sage.
And the voice line to allied Sage.
Sage, you're the only one who can keep us alive. Don't fail us now like you failed me then.
There's another little sub-theory that ties into that, which is that Omen was an experiment for Sage's revival, and we can see that it failed. And adding on to Sage's voice line,
I wasn't strong enough before, but now I am strong enough for us all.
We can see that Viper still holds a lot of resentment towards Sage for that. Theory number 2. Another theory is about a Viper and Skye. So Skye holds a lot of resentment towards Viper for what she did and is doing to the environment. Skye has no voice lines for allied Viper and only has one voice line for the enemy Viper, which says,
I can't believe they're Vipers dumping all that shit in the air. I'll kill her.
Theory number 3. Viper used to be a healer, judging by this one of Omen's voice lines.
Just think, Sabine. You used to heal with your skill. Funny.
Considering that Viper was a chemist, he could be referring to her healing people through her profession in some kind of way, like making medicine maybe. But because he did use the word skills, referring to Agent's abilities and Agent Kit, maybe before she was like Sage going around healing people through her kit somehow. Theory number 4. Considering that in the lore it says Sabine lost everything due to her experiment, it could be referring to losing Omen, as they could have been lovers. There is another voice line which supports that Viper was in love with Omen, which she actually says to Reyna.
Reyna, a woman after my own heart. You can't have it though.
Maybe because Viper's heart belongs to Omen. And considering that Viper treats Omen better than other agents, it kind of makes sense. Theory number 5. Let's talk about one of Reyna's voice lines.
For you, hermanita.
Hermanita means sister in Spanish, and looking at the card called Revenge for Life, where Viper's looking at Reyna and Reyna is looking back at Viper very viciously, we can see that there is some kind of conflict in between them. And then at the bottom of the card you can see a scientist, which looks like Viper, walking away wearing a lab coat while holding the hand of a little girl, which is theorized to be Reyna's sister. Apparently Viper didn't know that it was Reyna's sister and just wanted to experiment more on radiant humans, so humans with powers like Reyna, to see if the powers can be manipulated, and with Reyna's sister being a radiant too, she would make a very good case study. So Viper must have tried to revolutionize and upgrade humanity and see if Reyna's sister powers can be transferred or shared in any kind of way. This however resulted in a possible death, so Reyna lost a loved one. Theory number 6, which is our last theory. There is another theory why Viper used Reyna's sister, which is that she wanted to find a way to bring Omen back and save a life, but unfortunately ended up taking the life of someone else. And that's it for today's video. Thank you everyone for joining in. Make sure to follow me on TikTok and Twitch. I stream Monday to Friday. I appreciate all of you and bye bye.